Alright, so we are watching Waddle. He's playing Ramattra. After liking Ramattra and a ton of QP, this is your first game of Ramattra in comp. Um, Rank unknown, you were bronze in Overwatch 1. You think you did okay, but I definitely know that I'm not experienced against certain heroes like Junker Queen. It's decently close and winnable. I'm wondering what I did wrong that wasn't on my radar. Uh, So yeah, we'll give a little bit of a watch of this. Sorry for the late review on it. I had your posts saved because I thought it'd be interesting to watch Ramattra. Really like playing Ramattra. I actually just hit plat 4 on tank the other day by I main Ramattra and so I've pretty much been all just been playing him lately. I've been playing tank a little bit more this season. Normally I play mostly support, but when I play tank I play Ram because he's just a really fun hero to play as. Um, but yeah, so I completely forgot that I remembered that I had your post saved, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I can go and do a review of him. You seem to have a very high sensitivity. You're kind of twitching all over the place here. Just noticing might be a thing. Yeah, so I would think this is actually a really good spot here. Like I think you do a good job of not really like overextending here. But like even here, like your first instinct, so you come here, right? You see the Junker Queen, like this is what's going on now in front of you, right? So this is what you pay attention to. You don't need to back up here. There's no reason to back up. Like you want to be close enough. You need to stay close enough to punch her, because she can shoot you with her shotgun, like from outside of your punch range. So you don't want to be in a spot where she can damage you, but you can't damage her. Uh, and then when you come to this Mercy here, right? Like you have 500 health. I just walk around the corner, hit her one more time, she dies, right? Like, if I was low health or whatever, like, definitely, yeah, you do a good job not overextending here. But if it's in the point where you literally just 1 second to pop out, punch the Mercy, she dies, like, that's a huge kill right there, right? Taking out a support. And then you just kind of, like, ignore what's going on there. Like everybody turns and just kind of, like, dives to the rest of your team. You aren't putting pressure on the rest of them. I think if you go and like hold the front against, because you had like I believe like 3 people here on you. Let me come back to this. And if I'm see if I'm right here, 'cause it seems like they're all kind of like their Mercy is here, their Junker Queen is here, their Pharah is here, right? Even their Bastion's sort of looking here. The second you leave, like the whole team just goes over here and collapses on you, the players over there. That's not something that you want. Like you had all their attention here, you were doing great until you just kind of like gave up for I'm not sure why, just to go back to the other side, right? Like your team is holding over here. Um, so this I think right there, yeah, you go and you kill the Mercy and then you hold the attention of their team. I think that you have a lot better chance of holding that fight. Yeah, so you want to be really careful in the Bastion here. Because, yeah, that's a lot of damage. Okay, so playing as Ramattra, you're technically have like you have your poke form, but generally you're a brawl tank. So like people who play like Reinhardt and uh Reinhardt, Zarya, or like or Ramattra, right? Like they all have things that will allow them to take space in order to get up close enough to the enemy team in order to use their brawl abilities, right? So their team essentially, your job is to bait out the Bastion so that he does his turret form, right? Once his turret form is gone, then you want to be able to close the gap and start punching people because you like that's where you're really like, I mean, you do a lot of damage in poke form, but you aren't going to be able to punch anyone, and especially with the Reaper too. Like, you want your team to be able to close in here, so close enough that you can start punching people and be really tanky and go out there and do a lot of damage. Up here, right, like they have a Pharah and like Bastion that are really going to apply a lot of pressure over here on you, right? And your Reaper is coming down here trying to take this because this is where you should be going down instead of holding up here. Like, you aren't going to do anything from up here. Like you have to kind of think of like what's your plan from up here, right? Because if you're just waiting for your team to get a pick, then that's not like, you know, maybe your team gets a pick, but then also like you're just giving them free time where their cart's just moving because your team can't contest until you come down here, right? So your Reaper's down here by himself because he's wanting, maybe he's wanting to move the payload, maybe he's going for a flank, I don't know. But you should be coming down here, right? Playing this flank, or not this flank, but this corner right here. Or if you got here earlier, you could play this corner. Like, always try to play corners as tank, especially if you're playing a brawl tank. Because then you want to be in the spot, right, where A, if something like the Bastion goes into turret mode, you can just walk behind this corner, right? And then your team works. And then B, from here, right, you can close the gap and engage. Like, you can throw your shield up and poke at them until you get up close enough, use your nemesis form, and punch everybody. You know, if you're playing back here, say, like out in the open right now, then you're going to be taking a bunch of damage as you're trying to come in and use your nemesis form, and then you won't be able to get close enough to do anything. So it's something that takes a while to learn, like where to be doing things. But I think what would definitely work on, instead of sitting up here using your poke form, work on getting yourself close enough that you can use your nemesis form and brawl the team, because that's where you're going to get like a lot of damage done and create a lot of pressure on their team. Instead, they actually have like a lot more long range poke damage, and now your Reaper got ran over. And now they're going to get this for free. So yeah, at this point you just need to back up or die, right? Yeah, so good kill on the Ana, right? Now you need to look and see what all is going on here, right? So this has been like they have the cart right now, right? I'm gonna say let's back up a little bit more here. So during this, because here, I'll tell you, like, the main thing that I have with this was like, I'm surprised honestly that you lived from this. Or maybe this was a little bit longer. Yeah, so you come off of here, right? And you're 39 damage. Like, here you're 15. Like, all she does is tickle you once. Like, there is zero reason with the Pharah here and them there, like, just one shot and you're dead from either one. So this is a spot where you normally would, if you're in like higher ranks, you would definitely be dying. So just something to be aware of, that when you get into a point like this where like your team is dead, like everybody here is dead aside from your Mercy, that it's a time where you should just actually normally suicide. But that's, you happen to get out of this because they don't know how to chase you down. But just keep that in mind as you go up, is that this is a really risky play that you could get staggered. If you get down to 15 health, there's Pharah was right here and didn't kill you for some reason. Their Junker Queen was over here and didn't kill you from some reason, like you were one shot. I guess your Anna's here healing you now, but that still would have been like a really easy, even now, uh, like there's nothing stopping this Pharah from being up here shooting at you, right? And that's an easy kill for her. So just something to be aware of, that like um, situations like this are often really easy for people to get staggered, like dying and then having a different respawn from your team. But again, like good kill on the Ana, right? And you're going to stop the res. It doesn't work out. That's alright. The only thing is maybe I don't know if you had this here. Yeah, I went for this a little bit too far back. Sorry. Yeah, so here is actually a time when you could have thrown your vortex and probably would have made her easier to hit. Just to, you know, it's a little thing. It is what it is. Like she gets away, it's fine, you know. But then either that or because she res the Ana, you can then turn around here and actually throw it at the ground here because you know that the Ana got resed. And then this Ana has to walk across the vortex, right? Out here, and if she's slowed, that's super easy for your team to kill her. So that's another thing. Just think of, okay, well the Ana got rezzed, so she's right behind me. Then I need to like turn around and try to kill her, right? Because she's still behind. Like you see how she walks across your screen again. Right here, she walks across your screen and you just don't pay any attention to her. Like super easy kill. She just antied you, and you still haven't noticed it. But again, so this is where you want to be. Okay, so here's, and then one more thing. Uh, so this is a technique called armor cancel. That since you have your nemesis form available, walk in, pop your nemesis form, and punch and do damage. And then when you get down and lose, like you burn through all the armor, like this part of it. You know, do as much damage as you can, and then when you burn through the armor part of your health, this orange stuff, then pop nemesis or pop your ultimate, and it will refresh your armor because you gain armor. This 200 is it or 250 something like that armor. So you get that from nemesis form, and then you can go in there and do a bunch of damage with your nemesis form by punching people, and then like when your armor is run through. So you essentially just give yourself like 250 free health and then pop your ultimate. I think something with this, at any point here, like when you're chasing this Junker Queen, throw your Vortex so that she, when, like where she's going to want to walk, right? Like, behind her here or here, like wherever you don't want her to go, throw your Vortex down, and then it will slow her and make her easier for you to get these last punches on. Not sure what you're looking for here, but yeah, it's... You can hear the fire behind you. It's unfortunate, but nice. So she trades off with your Ana. Your Mercy gets the res, so that's actually works out really well because now their Pharah wasted her ultimate in an attempt to, you know, not really do anything. If just back out of there. Like, don't ever try to take a Bastion head on. And if like it's you can throw shield for it, but if your team's like even somewhat smart, they'll just all walk behind the corner anyways. So here's another good time, right? Okay, so this is something that you can't do, right? You are the front line for your team. So you need to you have shield off cooldown, you have nemesis form off cooldown. That's two things that you could use to slow down their team so that they're not going to run after. Like you see your Ana is here in front of you, you have to be in front of it and tank for your Ana. Another thing you could do is throw again your vortex, throw it like right here so that their team like can't really come around the corner, right? Throw it like right here so it's just their Junker Queen, and then either put your shield up here to block all the damage, or go into nemesis form and start taking all the damage, right? And then your Ana can sit here and heal you while you're doing that, but instead, um, you know, she gets killed because like you could have thrown shield at any point there, but instead once she dies, like now there's no point in having this shield, right? Like you've lost your primary source of heals, you're at a disadvantage for this fight, and you're still like just die here, you know. So this fight is easily something that you could have held. If you just need it, you know, it's just one of those, use your abilities to try and be a front line because you're playing tank. Yeah, alright, so then with this, and so they're fighting their Junker Queen here, right? She has her overhealth that's not really going to do a ton. You could be like hitting her Pharah, or really honestly, you know, like, this is another one of those, it's not a great spot to be in the first place. You don't really have a ton of great cover, but if you do, then yeah, probably play around this. But your team is still up here, your Torb's coming back, so you don't actually have a full team here as well. But definitely chasing her. So you see where like your whole team is set up, right? Now you're moving over here where your Ana can't heal you, right? And your team can't really help you because you kind of just moved out of the way. Like if you're playing around here, this right here is probably the only really good spot right here is to play around. And so now their Bastion is sitting here, right, shooting your team, so your team can't come help you. They can't get around the corner. Uh, so just be aware of like where your LOS is at, because their entire team can at least pretty easily access you if they want to. Like the Pharah can fly up here and shoot you, the Ana can walk around here and shoot you, right? Your team has to like come through up into their face in order to help you. So this is just not a spot where, you know, that's so you get the kill, but then you end up dying it for you, and because you went into your team. You know, if you were back here the whole time and were like trying to fight their Junker Queen or their Ana here, then like your Ana could be sitting here healing you while you did it, and then you would have enough health to possibly get out, right? But instead, your Mercy Suicide's trying to save you, and you know this. So it's the a team fight. Like I don't think your mechanics are too bad. I think your sensitivity, you might be a little um more accurate if you turn your sensitivity down a little bit, just because you can kind of see how you're like looking up, and I mean, where was this? Yeah, like you're just kind of like jittering all over the place when you're looking. I think your sensitivity is just a little bit too high. I think it'll make you easier for you to hit. I'm just not sure that your team's actually back at this point. Maybe they are. It's a good reaction. I think this mouse is pretty good. Jason Mercy, good. Don't go AFK here, yeah. This is a spot where you hear their Ana on the left. This would actually be a really good spot to pounce on her when she was over here. Uh, like you could hear her shooting. So if you were coming over here or like seeing her, this would be a good spot where if you could like even from far try to like throw vortex behind her and try to keep her from escaping, or at least like make her an easier target for your team. That she's actually like really far up by herself. Because like this Pharah is not really a target you can hit. Again, this is not something like anytime the Bastion is in turret form, just automatically like he wants you to walk outside of the shield, right? Don't do it because you're just giving him free health and free ult charge. It's good, but yeah, I think it's pretty much just. I see. Now I would turn and look, at least see what's going on, right? see here, like their bastion shooting, because your team is back here being held off, right? And you're just not paying attention to it. You're just like walking the bot. Like the a robot's important, but if your team is back here and they get dove because you're not there and they all get killed, then the enemy team can just come and kill you while you're by yourself, right? Just be aware of where your team's at and what's happening to them. Yeah, and I think this is why you notice that you don't get healed this entire time. Because I'm gonna guess, yeah, your Ana is still stuck back here because she can't get, she wasn't like there's bastions still between you guys, so your Ana's still back here, your Junkrat's back here. They don't help you because you didn't come back to help them. So now you have a partial team fight because they couldn't get to you, and now it's, you know, you don't get healed because your Ana isn't able to get there. I'm not sure what this shield is blocking. More likely, since you're not taking any damage, I would wait to throw shield until somebody's really like dealing damage here. Because like right there for the bastion, you know, if you're caught out of like you're caught out of position here for the bastion, you're too far from the corner. This would be where you want to throw shield, right? Just to make sure you don't die from it. And then yeah, the only thing you can really do for this far is Nemesis form and like try to block. Like punching is not going to do anything unless you didn't hear this rocket barrage going off. It's right here, so that like you just try to block as much of the damage as you can because you're already very low. Good, really good tracking on that. Yeah, it's annoying. It happens. It's the fight on us. I think like that fight. I think you played really well. Like, it's about as well if you could have played it. No, yeah, you want to be going with your team. Good. Now be looking to see where the team's coming from. Yep. Yeah, good vortex. See, because it's something where you didn't hit her, but notice how like it keeps her from wanting to come after your team, right? This is actually really good because it may seem like it didn't do anything, but it actually is a good zoning tool that she has to go through a slowdown and damage if she wants to get to that. So that was really good placing that there. Yeah, so again, I think the Bastion's behind your team. It's just their Junker Queen here, so yeah, you want to be really aggressive. And again, you could have thrown Vortex to try to keep her from escaping, or you get the kill, but just little things, little things. So yeah, now you see your Bastion's behind. You gotta be careful of that, or just be aware of that. And now you know somebody's in the room because you can see you're dealing damage to someone. It's not your fault that your Moira died to that. I mean, they just spammed ultimates. I mean, that was like 3 ultimates on their team. They had Nano, Rampage, and the Barrage. So it's just kind of one of those. They used all their ultimates so they win the fight. Now okay, so again, like, you need to be out tanking. Like, you see your nanoed Sojourn ult going, like, you need to be in here already, like, dropping the second that they do. Because otherwise they were, like, the target already. honestly, I think for this one, like, I understand when I go after the kill, but also, like, their team is somewhat free. Like, their Bastion is right here at really low health. This would be an easier kill to go for. Like, since your whole team is kind of collapsing theirs, just try to, like, continue going back. Like, get the Bastion, and then you can come around and either wrap back inside for the Junker Queen, or go for the Ana, depending on what's the easier target here. Your team ends up cleaning it up anyways, but yeah, just be careful here. And I mean, you already run the team fight, so right, you don't want to do right now is just like die on accident, right? And again, sorry, this is another one of those times where I think you just get too onto the payload because they're over here. You know that they're over here. They're tank and like their support, right? So you need to be aware of this, and instead of just kind of turning around, like you see two of your teammates going in. I mean, you're Sojourn like she's about to die, so I would assume my Ana's gonna be on her own. So if you turn around and leave her, then you're just kind of leaving your Ana by herself. Actually, if Sojourn somehow gets out of there, but they just kind of get ran through there. So I think you just kind of need to recognize where like the most pressure to your team is, because like they had three, maybe four even play. I think three, because they had both their supports and their Junker Queen all behind you, and that's a bigger threat than just the two DPS in front. Especially when it's your Ana it's back there. I think you do a good job prioritizing your supports though. Like you almost get her. If she's too far, just stop looking at her. I'm guessing that's pretty much it. Yeah, so you just we're talking guns out. Okay. So yeah, overall I think some of your mechanics are pretty good, honestly, for especially for bronze, if that is where you end up getting ranked. Um, just work on the main thing is that sometimes like you just need to be frontlining a bit more for your team, especially with Ramattra. Like you need to be in put your team in good spots to set up team fights and then be aggressive with it because their Junker Queen was a lot more like diving into your team than you were into her. Um, I mean, I think you did a really good job waiting out the Bastion most times, but just and targeting supports and that. But it was only like some fights, and then other fights you were just kind of sitting there punching the Junker Queen when not a whole ton else was going on. Um, or just or when that was the only person that was there and the rest of your team was like cut off from you a couple times where I mean, you had the time where they were, be like your Ana and your Junkrat were cut off, and then they weren't able to join you, and then you had the time where you cut yourself off from your team in order to get a kill. So just be aware of where your team is, be aware of the most pressure is coming from your team when you need to be like frontlining for them, and or if you need to hold off, whether or whether from behind or in front, depending on where the most pressure is coming from, where the most players are. Um, so yeah, hopefully this helped.